Hello, today is the 10th of January and followers of this channel will know that on the 10th of every month, that's when I do my unedited walk around the yard to show what progress has happened. Except of course, it's not really unedited any longer because I don't need it to be. I may as well cut out all the really useless waffling bits to save you from being bored. The question is 1 month enough for enough significant things to have happened to make it worthwhile me making a video about? Well, shall we find out? Starting with the Scrappy Corner, and this is where we see the blue MG ZT known as Project John still here and in pretty much the same condition as it was when you last saw him, although there are just a couple of more bits off of this car, but not really a great deal, and it is getting reasonably close to the time where I'm going to crack on and get ready to get rid of it basically. But as you can see, it's still got the engine in it, still got all of the running gear inside. It's still got bits, in fact quite a few bits, and a nice big puddle of water in the bottom there, which is quite deep. The bigger progress is on Project Adam. From some angles it doesn't look like there's been a lot done, but others you can see lots has been done. Namely, when we open up the door and we can see there are no door cards, no carpet, no dash, and no sunroof. There are a few other small bits to come out of here, but not really very much. Underneath the bonnet of the 216 is nothing. That's because I took the engine out and all of the running gear and the gearbox and everything in one go. And there is some of it, but not all of it because there's no engine there. The engine is in my lockup up there in bits because it's broken, and you may have seen that just the other day. Speaking of broken things, there is the Zafira, which is still broken, and in the past month the only thing that's been removed off of this car is one boost pipe, and then it turned out that was the incorrect pipe anyway. So that means there is nothing really to talk about with this car. But just over here we have transit face again, good old transit face, and again no progress with this. Why would there be? Maybe that's a good thing, but transit has been to work quite a bit over the past month and I'm happy with that. I'm sure there's something else to tell you. Oh yeah, I keep getting the battery flat because I keep leaving the blower fans on. That's happened 3 times in the past month. I reckon that's more than enough. And then we can see there's a Peugeot estate there. That's not mine. We stroll down to the business end of the yard and we have Nigel here, and the good thing is of course Nigel's had lots of things going on, including that new bonnet and the mirror caps and the streetwise roof bars on the back there and these trophy rear lamps. I also did the cam belt on Nigel, and well, that's a job done. The car's ready for the shows and stuff like that. There's probably nothing much more is going to be done on this. You may also know about the changing it from a Rover 425 to a Rover 42, the meaning of life according to Douglas Adams, but the 2 is missing, and that's partly because I took it off to see if anybody would notice, and partly because it fell off. Now let's talk about the no progress cars. This will be quite quick. I genuinely thought last month when I was down at this end of the yard, one of these 2 cars would be getting some movement, something going on, but it's not happened. So the big green 75 that's been there that long now that I can't even remember its name nothing at all. I haven't even opened it. And Christine, the Rover 45, the press release 45, the special Rover 45, again, still in exactly the same place. And I did think at some point over the past week or so, I'd have been moving it up there, pulling the carpet out to get some jobs done. But time is finite, isn't it? I wish I had more time. Also, without any progress really at all, is Project Waster. And that's because I believe it's got a faulty BCU. So, from it having battery draining issues and a duff starter motor, now it won't lock or unlock. The hazards or indicators won't work on it, and the car won't start. So I think the only option is going to be another BCU, or fix the BCU that it has. But the trouble is, these Pectron BCUs are rather useless, and whenever I've got one that works, somebody goes and buys it off of me, don't they? So I'm not sure what the future of this car is going to be just yet, but it needs to have one. It's still got plenty of MOT on it for a start. This time last month was one of the last times you could have seen the beloved George, the Rover 620 automatic. That has gone. I did a video on making it gone somewhere else, because it's gone somewhere else, because I took it somewhere else, because I sold it. Yeah, I do miss it. I miss that car. I'm just glad it went to a nice home where it'll be looked after. So now we're on to new things. So what is new here and has been very well documented so far? Project Alfie. This one came kind of as a direct result of selling George. Having freed up some money to buy something else, this one came up as an opportunity, and I thought, what a fantastic car. And it really is. It drives absolutely spot on, as you may know. It's got 38,000 miles, as you may know. It's a nice car, as you may well know. I've just got to decide what to do with this car, because well, I could just keep it, or I could just having done my proper tests on it and just run it for a month or so to make sure it's all tickety-boo, put it up for sale. And I do buy things to sell, so that is certainly an option. But it's another one of those cars where I will miss it if I do sell it, but I might not. Find out next month, I guess. Yes, and then we have something old as well as something new, and that is the return of Projectkev, the high-vis jacket. Yep, the custard missile. And the reason I'm standing here now is because it's raining and I don't want to get wet. This car has come back to me looking a bit different to what it used to do. I mean, it was yellow before, but now it's got stickers all over it. And it did have some alloys on it before, but now it hasn't. It's got these steel wheels. And it did have a head gasket failure when I had it, and now it doesn't, because that's fixed. It also actually has an MOT, and I haven't even talked about this so far, but it just scraped its MOT, but then as soon as I drove it around the yard a little bit, the exhaust started blowing. So I need to do that, but that's fine because I've got an exhaust for it. It's just one of those things. Now the plan for this car was I was going to use that as my everyday car, because obviously using Nigel every day means, you know, putting many miles on a car that's now become a bit of a princess, and also embarrassing my wife much more than she'd like. But then Alfie came along and we've been using that instead. So yeah, don't know what to do with this one now. The last car is that one out there, Derek the 800, which has been in the past 2 videos and been quite popular so far. With the past 2 videos being just about this car, and yesterday me asking what you lot thought I should do with it, whether I should just take it apart or try and mend it. 45 comments, pretty much all of you suggesting that it should just be fixed. That kind of puts me on the spot a little bit, doesn't it? Yes, it does. For the first time in ages, my lockup has got no car inside, but just bits, kind of bits on the floor everywhere. Bits of broken engine and mats and a couple of wheels and a box full of bits and another box full of bits and a slightly mended tripod. And then over here, Project Peugeot bike thingy. And that's not had any use at all, which is rather embarrassing. That's not quite the end of the video, because there are some other things I thought I might have a little chat about while I've got your attention. First thing is about other video ideas. I keep thinking of rather cool video ideas, which maybe they're cool to me but not to anybody else, such as driving is not rocket science, just displaying how dreadful people drive sometimes in a rather humorous manner. Maybe that would come across as a bit patronising, but maybe I don't really care. Yeah. Also, my mustard driving history videos. Now, some people seem to like these, and others I don't think are very interested, because they get rather poor viewing figures. But I'm going to continue doing them anyway until they're all complete. I'm not going to rush it. And then I had another idea about my driving yarns. Some of the stories I could tell you about the time a lady nearly knocked me off my push bike after I did something very helpful for her. But I'll go into that another time. Another thing that amuses me quite a lot are some of the comments I get on my videos. There's a few you characters that come up with some blinding comments. I almost feel like having a monthly best comment competition or something like that. There'd be no prize. Well, I mean, you could have a prize if you want, but you're going to have to fish it out of your own cupboard. And there's another thing as well. Oh yeah, I do apologise that I don't reply to all of the comments. You see, the trouble is, I finish work and I have other duties to do at home and things, and then I do my video editing, and that usually takes at least an hour to do that. And quite often you may see me answer your comment and then suddenly a video goes up. And that's because I tend to answer comments while I'm waiting for the video to upload, but then I don't always get a chance to do that either, and I feel bad about it. I feel guilty. I feel like a naughty man for not answering people, but you know, I am sorry for that. One last thing before the end of this video and we move on to the next one that I may be preparing for today is the Project Nigel car parts store. It's still a complete junkyard, and I just don't seem to be able to keep on top of it. I spent hours down here the other day to make it look ever so slightly tidier, and that's it. It just looks best behind me like that, where you can't tell how much of a mess it actually is, but most of it is indeed a mess. So see you next month.